Thanks for joining us. Now, the chief at the center of the alleged defilement of the 4-year-old girl at Assin, Adadientem, near Assin in the central region, has denied ever attempting to settle the matter himself and also clearing the suspect of his innocence by the gods of the community. Speaking to Richard Kojunyako at Assin, Adadientem, the chief, though a brother of the suspect's father, indicated he had no wrong in the matter. Contrary to speculations, he was trying to suppress the truth. According to him, the truth of the matter in the case is his preoccupation and not to defend any alleged criminal. Richard Kojunyako has more.
Assin Adadientem Nyamibetre Camp 1 is located off the Yamransa Assin Fosu Road, with a relatively bumpy road network leading to the community. The number of houses in the community can be counted within minutes. I could count up to about 20 houses apart from the cocoa sheds that are sparsely mounted. It is a community of farmers that mostly grow cocoa.
Because Brahmano ya chairman and Casano and a year and Casano. Omun to me, Macan, almost here at a pound on the boy, almost cost at a pound on the boy. And you know what is there?
The truth of the matter is that the victim's father, who is my linguist, has not come to me. All that they've been doing is to rain insult on me that I've been defending the suspect, Kwabena. They claim we are not good elders of the community. All we did was to demand a doctor's report that has confirmed that indeed the 17-year-old boy, Kwabena, had had a penile penetration on the 4-year-old girl.
More 4 years, 17 years, next thing now, Dr. Nibian to control the report. Say, I am a child of Fano. Next thing I don't know almost say, you know. And it, yeah, say, oh, man, you had the batu from my young match camp. Why I said the batu from there, and you know some cover.
Nana Abubuya, as he is popularly known, is the Odikro of the town. He is known privately as John Mensah. Nana had just returned from the farm about 6:30 p.m. when darkness had already engulfed the community. He denies settling the matter in the house and invoking any deity as part of the alleged defilement of the 4-year-old girl. He is my linguist, and so after establishing the truth, I will remove him as my linguist. I have no pact with Kwabena, but he is my uncle's son. It was because of his father, that is why I am the Odikro today. But I'm not defending him. The suspect in question, Kwabena, is Nana Abubuya's uncle's son. In fact, it is because of the suspect's father that he, Nana Abubuya, is the Odikro today. Some of the opinion leaders in the community have also been speaking with Joy News.
No, the hospital, na say Dr. Prufu say, asem na ya esinu, no krese be made no haka ne dia. Ene na emra kwan bia wo se yenso so mpanifo eboa no ye wa ha se ye de beboa ma emra ye na dwuma bia no yenso so ye de aboa.
We told them to take it to the hospital so we will know the truth. It could be that they are accusing Kwabena wrongly, or it may be true. That is why we told them to go to the hospital for a proof before the next action could be taken. Some of us are a bit skeptical because there was a time the two girls stole the fish of their mom, and when they asked them, they said it was Kwabena, the suspect, that had done it.
Yeah. Okra no kokori o mame nam a o mame ba o mubisa o se o se Kwabena na yeden e wie sa nam no enti o se we kan wa 2 times ni enti na e ma Kwabena na ni bre se
Nothing of this sort has ever happened since we came to this town. As of now, we don't know the truth. We were only waiting for the doctor's report that indicates that the child has been defiled by Kwabena, so we could hand him over to the police. We those living here at Nyamibetre do not know the truth, but based on all that is going on, I don't think it is the truth. At the time I was leaving the community, the suspect, Kwabena, had not returned from the market with his mother. He is alleged to have gone to support his mother sell her foodstuffs as he usually does every Wednesday at the market at Ando.
Now, this week, the nation has been moved to tears by the story of this 4-year-old girl who was defiled by an adult at Assin, Adadientem in the central region. The reaction of key stakeholders have moved many to anger as a mother of the victim, Monica Nyako, struggles to find justice for her daughter, as you just heard there in that package. Now, she began by consulting the local chief we just spoke with. He is denying ever declaring the accused person innocent, but you're hearing this now. The mother is telling a different story. The police in the area are also saying they are unable to identify this same person whose name is given as Kwabena. They are waiting for the victim or her family to lead them to the suspect. Now, social media in particular has been in an uproar over the development, and a number of hashtags have emerged in support of the victim and her family. So today on News Desk, we speak to two women who have decided to do something about this situation. In the studio with me is Ife Planche, gender activist and founder of Defilement Ministries. She started a hashtag Justice for Her. Ife, welcome.
Thank you.
And now Oyo Kumoji is also a gender activist. She's raising funds online to support the 4-year-old. Now, welcome.
Hello.
Right, so let me begin with you, Ife, in studio. Why did you decide? I've seen a number of hashtags on your posts, but the first one I saw is hashtag Justice for Her.
Okay.
Why did you decide to start this one? I mean, there are so many cases out there.
Okay, so I mean, just a little clarification. Justice for Her, I didn't start it, but it's a hashtag that came up in the wake of it. So, but then it came up on the platforms of people that I share the same ideologies with. So we just picked it up. So I think I saw Justice for Her, and then I think the variation that we have pushed is justice and then the number for her, just to emphasize on, you know, the victim in question.
Since she's a 4-year-old.
Exactly. So just to have that bit of variation about it. But then it's not a hashtag that I started, but we've all come together trying to push it.
Exactly.
And then also just a little clarification, I'm not the founder of Defilement Ministries. So that's just on the side. But anyway, so we decided to do this. Any person in this country, any person, not just in this country, who hears this issue has to fall in the direction that we are all falling, which is first the outrage, the disgust, and then also wanting to move to actually have some form of action being done or justice being seen in this case. And so I think that what we are doing is just basically reflecting where everybody is right now regarding this case. Yesterday we came to Joy FM, and after we left, a father just met us and, you know, just shook our hands and said, thank you, I have a daughter, and I can even imagine, you know, how this situation is going to be or feel for the parents and even the girl in question. So we should all be horrified. And the fact that this is actually, according to news, this is actually an endemic situation or occurrence in that community. But then we also know, at least from my experience so far with gender activism, at least with in the wake of Defilement Ministries, the stories that have come to us in the background, we know that this is not just an Assin Adadientem issue, Adadientem issue. It's a societal issue. There are middle-class women, there are middle-class girls, there are young girls, there are house helps in the city who are facing this situation.
I'll come back to you for us to expand on, you know, the bigger issue of sexual harassment and sexual abuse. But now I could ask you the same question, couldn't I? Because you have decided to take it a step further and you're working on a GoFundMe campaign to raise funds for this young girl. Why would you do that?
First of all, it was just disheartening and heartbreaking when we saw the article on Joy FM website.
Now, if you could please speak up a bit, it's difficult to hear you here.
Is it better?
It can be better.
Oh?
Go ahead.
I was saying, can you hear me now?
No, go ahead.
Oh, we're really saddened and horrified by what had happened. And we realized from an early start that me and Leila Jansi, she's a movie producer, and she decided that, you know, let's use our social media influence to create a GoFundMe page to get people to donate, because a girl so young who has been defiled is definitely going to have, you know, her private parts which are going to be damaged, because her organs, everything is not well formed, and such an occurrence is going to not just affect her medically, and she's going to need funds, she's going to need money to sort out the medical bills, and it's what we need to do as a community. We can't just only be talking about issues on social media and not taking definite actions, you know, to actually help someone out of their predicament. And that's what we decided to do, and that's what we've done. So we have a GoFundMe page, which is called the Reconstructive Surgery. So when you go to GoFundMe, it's Reconstructive Surgery. Once you search for that, but it's also on Facebook. And anyone can contribute as little as $1. We also have a mobile money, Vodafone Cash, which I can share later. And people can go and as little as 1 CD. We have raised almost $800. Even though our target was 5,000, we are still, you know, hopeful that we'll raise enough to cover the medical care that she needs.
Right. Now, I want to highlight on that point you made and bring it back to Efe in the studio, because Nahia was talking about people not just sitting on social media and talking, people actually doing something. And that's really the focus of your hashtag, isn't it? Because I've seen you put in email addresses and phone numbers to the gender ministry. I don't know if there are any other officials there that you would like people to go out and do. Why take that route in the first place? What do you expect to see as an outcome?
So, I mean, a lot of issues have come up, and then people are asking what structures are in place, what are the authorities doing? And so we recognize that there are structures in place. There's DOFSU, there's all these bodies out there that are supposed to be concerned with these issues. As of now, I personally haven't seen any issue on any statement on this issue from the gender ministry. That's number one. And number two,
well, just a quick one. We had an official of the gender ministry on PM Express the day before yesterday. She was saying that they'll continue with the education drive to try and get these issues down. And so there have been some comments on that platform, but nothing officially as a gender ministry statement yet.
Okay, so that strategy we used was to first of all let them know that we are all horrified, and let them know to the extent of our horror or the extent of our feelings and the urgency in the matter, because we have a situation in this country where there are lots of these cases that go unchecked and that go unpunished. And so first of all is to send that strong message that even if it's happened in the past, from this point onwards, we don't want to see this happening, because we are concerned what sort of country are our children coming to inherit? A country where little girls, little boys who are defiled cannot have their lives back, you know, and so things like this. And also to throw the general awareness there that this is a situation that we need to confront up front, look it in the face and deal with it. Little girls are being raped, older women are being raped. And then also, I mean, you mentioned the larger issues which we have brought up under this hashtag, speaking against, the culture where when it comes to the rape, we understand the rape when it comes to younger children. No questions asked. the moment it transcends beyond a certain age, then it's like the victim has to take so much responsibility for the act that has been committed to her. So that is also a serious issue that we need to tackle. So we're using this hashtag to, first of all, send a strong message to the authorities and the structures in place. We want to see them function and function effectively.
What sort of action would you like to see from authorities?
First of all, we need to start getting serious scapegoats. Perpetrators need to be jailed, fined, whatever. They need to be punished. To send that strong message to anybody out there who is also making these calculative moves on vulnerable people around them. Because rape is a very calculative act. So to send that strong message, we need to see people paying dearly for this. We need to recognize that even though parents, you know, have that authority over, that authority of ownership over their kids, children belong to the state. They are properties of the state. And if you go elsewhere, they recognize it. So even in such a situation, the state is going to take it up. It is such a serious issue, and it needs to get to that point for us too. We need to recognize how grievous this issue is, and then take it up from there.
I see Nat nodding so much on the on the screen there. You seem to be in strong agreement with different. As a community, we've seen what is happening in Assin Adadientem, where this chief is talking about the fact that he's willing to prosecute, but they are waiting for police reports and what have you. Do you think that as communities, we are playing the role we need to play in ensuring that justice is really served?
You know, I have always said that many or most of our problems as a society comes from the foundation of the home. Like, what kind of foundations do we have as homes? Because every problem of society you can trace to the home. Why is it that families do not want to report rape cases? Is it because of the stigma or the embarrassment, or how even people would treat the family because of a raped victim? You know, and addressing these issues, especially when it comes to our mindset towards, sexually related issues, domestic abuse, prostitution, etc. When it comes to these topics, it's like we want to hide. We want to hide and act as though nothing is wrong. So how are we as a family unit, as a mother and father, that when your child is abused or is raped by someone, what should you do and what shouldn't you do? Why do we see it like as though it's an embarrassment that must not be addressed? That the families are ready to hide, you know, such a scandal, forgetting that it's going to affect the child in the future. And it's not something that, you know, they are going to see now. It's going to be a ripple effect in the child's life and towards society. You know, and that, for me, must be addressed, because for me, that's the root cause. Any problem, whether it's an incident, you know, when we had the gas explosion and everything, the investigations is being done, have we asked ourselves what the root cause is? Because the root cause, once it's addressed, because it's at the foundation, once that's addressed, anything above the roots can be solved. So if we ignore what's at the base of our upbringing, which is the home, then everything above will not be solved.
Right.
And for me, that's basically it. So we have to look at the family system. Of course, the government system is not working. There's so many things that has to be implemented as a government. But then we have to realize that the home itself, there are issues there that are not being resolved. There are fathers who are even abusing their children or their daughters, and the mother does not want to speak out.
Of course, and a larger percentage shows that some of these, well, research, I should say, so that a larger percentage of these sexual offenders are actually within the close family, within the trust circle of these
But can I
victims.
quickly add on to what Na said? I think that culturally, if you look at us, at the culture of the society, we don't have a knack for details. We are not detail-oriented. And we don't like focusing or taking into consideration how the little things contribute to the larger things. So we always wait for something big to happen. Then we react, we cry, then we pray, then we forget. But if we can start, at least let this be the starting block for us. Let's start looking at things that contribute to this larger issue. What are the contributing factors? What are the enabling factors, the enabling environment that creates this environment where, number one, a mother would protect her husband over her own child? Do you understand? We need to be able to develop our own sociological perspectives in understanding why things happen in our society, so that when we are solving the issues, we don't just cut off the branches, because the branches are going to grow back, but we solve the issues from the roots.
So where do you think we begin?
We begin from serious sexual reorientation. Sexual education, sexual reorientation. We need to be open about sex in this culture right from an early age. We need to, because when we were growing up, we all see these things. Boys, little boys that you grew up with in the classrooms will put a mirror under your chair just to see what you're wearing under. Little boys are somehow fascinated by women's body. Why even at that stage? What are we saying? What are we not saying to boys? What are we saying to girls differently? That sort of creates this environment. We grow up and there's a serious we're in a society that we put so much responsibility, moral responsibility and expectations on girls over boys.
Okay.
So what environment are we creating that makes someone think that I can go and just force myself on somebody else? Because when it comes to stealing, and rape is actually the foundation, it comes from the motivating factor is taking something that does not belong to you. If I leave my door ajar, I'm being careless at night, and someone comes in to steal what belongs to me. There is a case, and I see that this is the person, there's evidence to prove that you came for it.
The person still deserves to have justice served.
I can still go make a case and there will be justice served. So no matter how vulnerable or how careless, whether it's even the fact that I can put myself, it's an issue of entitlement. If I say no, and ladies, if you're watching me, women, men, little boys, if you're watching me and you're doing more than shaking your head, you're saying more than no, you're saying more than stop, you need to start speaking up. It's sexual harassment.
Well, so that's, I'll take those as your final words, because the time is squeezing me around the neck.
Sure.
But I'll also go back to Na for her final words on this matter. Solutions. I mean, where do you think we should begin?
You know, I'll say the same thing again. Everything starts from the home, and seeing how, as a country, you know, we are very religious. We need to also have these conversations in our churches, in our mosque, in every setting or every religious setting that we have. And we must speak openly about sexually related topics, from masturbation, pornography, rape. All these topics, we must not be shy about it and must remove that, if I should call it that, like, oh, sex is like, you know, some strange mythical thing. We have to remove that cover up from it, and let's talk openly about it. There's nothing wrong about it. Even the Bible talks about it. So why are we so afraid, you know, to talk about it? What will it make us? It will not, you know, degrade us in any way. We are rather creating the right foundation blocks for the upcoming children. And we must use social media wisely. When people post things about sex and are trying to solve problems, there are others who rise up and make it seem like, no, this is, you know, or you are doing something too much. You know, we have to use social media the right way.
We have to be more tolerant. I guess that's what you're trying to say.
Yes, more tolerant and understand people's opinions and not insult them because they are trying to solve a problem. You know, so I believe that by starting in the home, by starting in our churches and talking more and going beyond the talking and taking actions like we are doing with Justice for Her and, you know, raising the funds, etc., I believe, like, you know, we are heading towards a better place. Yes.
Thank you very much, Na Oyo Kumoji. And of course, if you plans for your time this morning, I'm hoping that this would, you know, spare more conversations at home when we're watching. It's time for us to take a quick break, but there are more stories to tell. Stay tuned in.